Carl and Damon here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it's tier list time as we are wrapping up our Donkey Kong Country TV series content with a tier list. Now, we did consider doing a tier list for the episodes, ranking all 40 episodes that are now available, our reviews on this channel, but we decided not to. Yeah. And the reason why we decided not to is simply this. We couldn't remember half of them. We realised that in a tier list, we would like it to be on, all right, here's the brief synopsis, but I don't really remember the content, and it really wouldn't matter where it went in the end. It'd be hard to come up with the best. Likely that what we'd end up doing is getting to the last few episodes and then choosing them based off more memorability. But like, if you ask me right now to recap what happened in episodes 1 to 20, or the entire first season of Donkey Kong Country, I'd be like, something happened with K. Rool trying to get the crystal coconut. I'd be like, oh no, there was definitely an episode where the pirates were in it, but what they did or what was related to, no idea.
Yeah, I mean, same as me. There's only a few episodes which stand out, like the pirate and his brother.
Yep,
song, but again, I couldn't tell you what episode it was.
Yeah, when it appeared, anything like that.
To me, that shows you how
forgettable
the series was. Yeah. I mean, ask me about Stargate, I'll tell you every episode. I've seen it, and so on.
Yeah, but that reflects exactly as we often talked about it. What I'm going to remember from Donkey Kong Country, I will remember it. I'll remember the characters and so on like that, and I will, of course, remember the theme song. Hey, yo, look at that. I still sing that every so often in my head, you know. It's fun. It's a better theme song than Viva Pinata, which is what we're calling. I skip Viva Pinata so fast now. I'm like, nope, that kind of thing. But no, what we have decided to do is to wrap up this coverage is to rank the characters, the major players from it. 14 major players I chose that have appeared in multiple episodes in some case, or the majority of episodes. And we're going to rank them into 5 categories. Top, always fun. E.g., whenever they were there, they were always fun. They never annoyed us. They were entertaining characters. Enjoyable. Yeah, they were fine. Yep. Meh. Take it or leave it. Annoying. A character that was just downright annoying. And the worst. Those characters. Yep. I already have one I'm choosing for that specifically. We won't reveal it, but I think we might be on par with this character. So we're going to do all 14, put them to this, and then draw a line under Donkey Kong Country. Of course, we do continue on the channel with a number of other They Made What into a TV series. We are currently doing Viva Pinata, the TV show. There are many episodes to go there. That is replacing Donkey Kong Country, as well as things like Castlevania and more stuff in the future. Yep. Yay for these shows. But we're going to do this tier list right now. And we're going to start off with a character that appears in a handful of episodes here and there, and is sometimes a major player of them. It's Polly Roger, which is the parrot, the bird that is aligned to no one, really. We first meet them when they appear to be aligned with the pirates, Captain Scurvy. But be honest, when they reappear in later episodes, it constantly plays sides, really. Sometimes as aligned with the apes, sometimes aligned with K. Rool. Basically, the only person Polly Roger appears to be aligned with is themselves.
Yeah, so it goes for the highest bidder, really.
Yeah, which makes them a little bit of an interesting character.
Yeah.
It does. Often as well, like they're the MacGuffin of the episode. What they do creates what goes on.
Yeah.
However, I hate the voice.
Yep.
The squawking voice is extremely annoying. Extremely annoying. I also hate, and I know this is, because it's not episodic. It's not. It is episodic. It's not telling a consistent story. But I hate that Polly Roger will be there and then just disappear for 20 episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of leaning towards this one sitting in the middle at meh.
Right in the middle,
It never, the character never bothered me, but I never ever felt like it was really important either.
No.
Like if Polly Roger hadn't been there, would we have cared?
You wouldn't even notice, I don't think.
Yes. Let's do meh. All right, it's Crusher. One of the 3 major players of the villain side of things, one of K. Rool's goons. This is the character that is basically big and stupid. However, often one that gets a lot of laughs.
Yep.
I particularly liked in later episodes where they made the character a little bit more nuanced, where they'd still be stupid, but they would be smart about certain things. it's not a new, fresh thing. The whole hulking beast that's a bit thick. It's been done before.
It has,
but there are laughs that come from Crusher.
Yeah, for me, he's one of the highlights of the show. So yeah, so for me, it would go in always fun because I think he always just a laugh. You know, it's always
Good argument.
Crusher and Clump and King K. Rool. Yeah, they're always a funny moment when they're on the screen.
I agree, and I think you've got a good argument, right? But I kind of have a couple of shows of it always fun in my head, and I'm like, would Crusher be amongst them?
So are you putting it between Crusher and Clump then for?
That's what I would want to do. Okay. I would want to separate Crusher and Clump.
Right, so then I'll put him in enjoyable then.
Yeah, right. We're kind of leaning into the next one. So right, let's. I think you can see what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So let's put Crusher enjoyable because he is, which brings us to Clump. And I'm already telling you, Clump goes in always fun because Clump not only several times got my biggest laughs, but was entertaining and sometimes had great stories. We will always reflect. If there's an episode we'll remember more than any other, it is the brilliantly done brother storyline that we wish they had followed up on and carried on. Should have done.
Yep.
Made it now a thing in the show, but it didn't. They abandoned and so on. But regardless of that, Crusher, obviously being the second in command, has a number of nuanced elements. He can be stupid. He can be funny. He's incredibly loyal. But he's also not necessarily anti the apes. It's more that he's just in awe and enthralled to King K. Rool.
I always refer to him as he's my Zangief fan.
He's a Zangief.
He's not sure if he's good or bad. He's sort of in the middle.
And we see sometimes he gets involved directly with the apes in different ways. There's an episode where he becomes Dixie's friend. There's an episode where he works with Donkey Kong and so on to split up Cranky and K. Rool. See, the fact that we can remember a lot of what he does.
The comedy one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where they remember they were friends, but they're really, really awful and annoying when they're together. But he also does something throughout several times. Every time I saw made me laugh so hard. I don't know why it was, and it's the fact that his binoculars were just his claws like that. I loved it. I always loved that.
Stupid but funny.
Top, always fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yes. King K. Rool. Now, K. Rool is a bit of a mixed bag for me. Yeah. I actually think he gets better as the show goes on.
Yeah, definitely.
He becomes funnier, he becomes more sarcastic. They let his smartness actually shine through, whereas early on he's so fucking stupid and the constant, I want the crystal coconut, with no real plan is always infuriatingly boring. We got so tired of that being a major plot point. So much so that later, when they kind of drop it, for the most part, alright, that's the overarching theme, but often each episode would just have an individual thing going on. It often made it more enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's like the first 50 episodes, it's all about the same old, get the coconut, lose the coconut, blah, blah, blah. And then towards the end of the show, it just like they seem to like push that to one side.
Yeah, like they know they can't tell any more stories about it.
So they got more involved in like with the apes and like going to the party and stuff.
Yes. Like where it becomes almost like elements where they like have him be like jealous because he wasn't invited, and we'd be sitting there going, "Why would they invite you, you dickhead?" and stuff like that. But that was always more enjoyable. Where do we put him? This is hard, but right, he at least goes in enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because we should say, the voice acting of K. Rool and singing voice was often one of the strongest characters of it. Really, really was. So that kind of weights towards him. So I'm looking at enjoyable. I'm thinking, can he go in always fun? Or I'm leaning towards top of enjoyable, above Crusher, or behind Clump and always fun.
I think for me it's got to be enjoyable because obviously to be always fun, for me it's overall the entire every episode, and obviously
K. Rool has his problems in the earlier stuff. Yep. Let's put on top of always enjoyable. Yep. There we go. All right, now we move on to some of the apes. It is Funky. Now, so Funky surprises me in the sense that when I thought about I'm going to put him in this, I realised, I kind of like him.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, I shouldn't have liked him. I should have found him incredibly irritating. Because let's be honest, his whole shtick was that, alright, he's zen and he's chill, man, and stuff like that. But we used to spend more time joking about the fact that he was basically high. But then I realised, that's kind of fun. The fact that like, obviously the writers be like, no, he's just super chill and all that. And it's like, sharp, he's throwing smoke and something. But that kind of made him fun. And then I realised, oh, but he's not in it enough to annoy me.
Yeah.
Like, they don't often put many episodes around him, and sometimes his whole chilled out thing, in contrast to often in a hyperactive moment involving Donkey Kong, Diddy, Cranky, and so on, actually works quite nicely. I'm leaning towards enjoyable for Funky.
Yeah, because I mean, overall he's maybe in 10 to 15 episodes, but he's something that you remember. Yeah,
I'd say more, but most of the time as a background character rather than a major one.
I think he only had he had that one episode where it's like, was it the travel back in time? Was it the one where he breaks the surfboard? Or DK breaks his surfboard or something like that?
I'm not sure. There's a lot that happens in that.
But I mean, he's fun. He's enjoyable. He's an idiot. You know, he's always flying his plane and crashing into stuff like that. So
Bottom of enjoyable though. After the two lizards. Yeah, good call. Good call. Okay, one that rarely appears in it. It's not an 8. Rarely appears in it, but often has an important role in it. Is Inka Dinka Doo. This is the idol. Now, I remember when we first introduced Inka Dinka Doo, and I actually really laughed and enjoyed the aspect of it having turning faces. It kind of reminded me of A Nightmare Before Christmas with the mayor, performed by the wonderful and late Glenn Shaddix. But the more we see of Inka Dinka Doo, the more I hated it. I hated it because, my God, what a stupid example of convenience, but also what complete example of nonsense.
Yes,
literally makes no sense. Often confused elements where it's like, oh, Inka Dinka Doo decides who the next route. What? Why?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, whoever chooses to be the leader of like Congo Bongo was called, or whatever it is, the island.
Yeah.
It's basically they change it every episode. Once it's Cranky, once it's Inka Dinka Doo, once it's the coconut.
Yeah, we're always very confused. I don't really ever get why they introduced Inka Dinka Doo, really, aside from being an idol in a temple.
For me, it's annoying.
Annoying, exactly that.
The amount of times DK goes there just to get a simple answer, and it's supposed to be all powerful. He never tells you the answer. He's just like, I don't know.
There's an episode where like he does a rhyme in it, like apparently DK works out it can be quite it's an annoying character, which also might be where Eddie the Yeti sits. And again, a minor character that maybe appears in, I'd say, no more than 10 episodes. Sometimes with more roles and and a character that they seem to change over the course of the show, where initially he's a bit beastly and a bit like angry, like the whole mean old Yeti, Eddie the mean old Yeti. I'd say later on he just comes across a bit thick, a bit dumb, and particularly with the voice actor, it's kind of done in a way to make him sound like he's a little slower and simple and stuff like that. And I'm not sure I like that aspect of it. Whereas I think the idea of he'd been a mean, grouchy thing throughout would have at least given him a different taint compared to everyone else.
Yeah, sort of like they I don't know, they must have had to change their heart halfway through it, because when they started off, the apes are talking about how he's always making loud noises.
Yeah, they did that episode, Got a random episode where they're being kept up by Eddie because he's making noises in the mountain.
And then suddenly, like, they wanted his vote. Remember the episode where they're asking for to vote who's going to be the mayor?
Right.
And they go for him for his vote.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense.
It's just a bit random, isn't he?
Yeah. He's not the worst, but he's...
Mayor?
Mayor.
I was thinking that, because if we put Polly Roger in there, Mayor, but maybe, what do you reckon, before Polly Roger, because he has more of a role? Yeah, let's put him top of Mayor. Captain Scurvy. The only one I chose from the Pirates, because the others are goons.
Yeah.
And Captain Scurvy has a handful of episodes, but whenever he's in it, he takes the lead role. I like Captain Scurvy for one thing. He's more direct than K. Rool, and often more successful because of that. It's often his own doing. He doesn't just fucking leave the island quickly and starts messing around. Beyond that, though, I struggle with him because ultimately I think he's too similar to K. Rool, aside from Gar Matey. However, the voice actor, with that element, knew what they were doing and often go for an over-the-top silliness there. There's a good episode about the Pirate Oath. There's a great episode about the brother thing. So there were a couple of good things, like the way they did the Pirate Oath, where he inevitably he has to give up the crystal coconut because he owes DK, and DK wants the crystal coconut as his reward. And Scurvy, because he has to stick to this oath, has to give it back. That's a clever idea.
It is clever one,
Pirate code and nonsense like that. Visually, he's just another K. Rool. But I think often his character works can be a good highlight of it. And we come back to I think what would have been our #1 episode if we'd done it. Although it could have been tied So I think our number one episode would have been the brothers, when it was revealed that Scurvy and Clump are brothers. But I think it could have been closely tied to the one where DK didn't exist.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like a Christmas Carol where he finds out that Diddy was an evil dictator and elements like that, because that was so clever. They would have been closely tied.
Yeah, definitely.
So where are we putting Scurvy? We're going to put him in enjoyable? Enjoyable?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not the top one. It's definitely enjoyable. But
End of it?
Yeah, because I mean, again, he only had like 10 episodes, but he's very.
I think it was probably less than 10. You know,
probably less than that. Yeah, but he does stand out.
Yeah, we remember him for it. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's probably the end because the others are significant characters.
Yeah.
So it does fit there. DK, Donkey Kong himself. Donkey, obviously, I mean, look, he's in every single episode. He's often the major player. He's the main star. The character is a mix of lovable goof. Lovable goof might be the word. Who is arguably voiced by the best voice actor of all. The speed and nuances that he deliver to that voice is generally entertaining. He can be funny. He can be heroic. He can be stupid. I really love DK. My one complaint is this. Two complaints. One, I don't really think he ever really learns anything. He never really grows, which is a bit of a thing. But the other one is that, unlike a lot of the other characters, DK has a completely different singing voice. A different actor performing the singing voice, and it's really notable. It's really noticeable. And it's a weird thing to kind of get stuck on, but considering Donkey Kong Country TV series has songs, 2 songs per episode, it's kind of a big deal. It's really notable. But I'm stuck here because it's Donkey Kong. It's called Donkey Kong Country.
For me, it's top of enjoyable. Not on top, because for me, because I still think he's an annoying character. He
can be annoying,
but because it's Donkey Kong, and he's obviously famous. He's in every episode. He has got some good episodes. He is enjoyable, but I'm going to say
you don't think he could be always fun, but at the end, Banana Slammer.
I mean,
that's a catchphrase.
Just,
Let me have this one. I will give you one back. I want to put him because he is the star. And when I think of him, I do smile. And I hear his voice sometimes doing the silliest stuff. Do you know what I mean? And elements like that. Which makes me think he was always fun. At the end...
When I saw your list, I thought only 2 or 3 would have reached the top one for me.
Let me have this one in case if we disagree on another one where I think a different thing, you may have the next one. I think that's the fair trade here. Brings us to Diddy Kong. Obviously a major player. I think pretty much in every episode as well. Obviously a familiar character, DK's sidekick. Smarter than DK, but not without his own dumb moments as much as anything else. Has a mix of good episodes, but I would argue it is never really the star. When I think of Diddy, I think how amazed we were, particularly when it came to the voice actor. We go back to that episode where he was a villain, and how brilliant it was to see him in that. We laughed. We thought that was that's a really strong episode for us. And the voice actor, I mean, it's done because it's Diddy Kong. He's supposed to be younger and stuff like that. I completely accept and understand that as well. But I do sometimes find that voice annoying. I can hear it now in my head. Is that DK? I mean, I can't do it, but God.
I mean, I was thinking
he's an important character.
I was thinking annoying, but I think that's a bit harsh.
It is a bit harsh, isn't it?
So I mean, I would say meh, but then because of that dictator episode, I think that maybe pushes them up to the bottom of enjoyable. You know,
but he's such an important character. Where would you put him in enjoyable? At the bottom, or would you put him above the likes of Scurvy and Funky? Now, bear in mind, this is our list, so I guess we shouldn't be too hard. Where would you put him? And then I'll tell you where I'll put him. And this might be your one.
I'm gonna second, I think, behind K-Rool.
Above Crusher.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, only because it is the
Diddy Kong.
Diddy Kong.
He is Diddy Kong.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Donkey Kong, you think of Diddy and Donkey Kong.
Yeah, you think when I think of playing Donkey Kong Country, I don't tend to I think of swapping between Diddy and Donkey Kong as well.
You don't think Crusher.
Diddy Kong Racing, one of the best kart games from the 90s era.
Yep.
So yeah, let's give Diddy a break. I think you're right. I would have actually put him around there as well, so we'd no argument here. Yep. My argument was I think you're going to put him lower, and I would have put him higher, and then I was going to let you have it. Yeah. But we move on. Cranky Kong. Cranky.
Yep.
What's about Cranky? Obviously a major character. Motivations are baffling at time. The voice is grating, but it fits the character nicely.
It does.
Where it falls apart is when he has to
to
fucking
sing,
sing.
yeah.
Don't put us through that. His motivations around Donkey Kong and the crystal coconut and the island in general are very, very irritating.
Yes.
However, they keep this character consistent.
Yes.
And one thing I will say I like about this character is I generally don't think he likes Donkey Kong. I don't think he likes him at all, but he knows how important he is and who he is, and that's what kind of sticks. I'm torn on Cranky.
Yeah, I mean, he's very annoying, 100% annoying.
Oh yeah.
But the worst is reserved for one person.
Yeah.
So it's not down there. So meh. I think maybe top of meh.
I'm leaning towards it as well.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards it as well because he's often just a setup of many things. There are times when he baffled us. There are times we're like, what did? And there are times when I think we talked about it where they weirdly that as character. Where they do random things like dancing and stuff like that. And it was just odd. It was off.
He seems to just change the rules too. Like
Per episode, yeah.
One minute the coconut can make it visible and disappear.
Yeah, or they do this episode where they'll be like, oh yeah, it's the annual competition and so on. Oh no, K. Rool is entering it. And we're like, you don't have to let him.
If he wins, he gets the coconut. It's like,
why are you letting this happen?
This is just. I suppose in a politically correct world, they have to allow him.
No, it's not politically. We wondered if there was some other ruler that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
Top of meh?
Yeah.
I think that's fair to put him top of meh.
He's in almost every episode, so he has to be.
Sorry, Cranky. Sorry. Dixie Kong. My God, what is the point of Dixie fucking Kong? What a pointless character. Yeah. You would think she would have had a bigger role, but she appears in only a handful of episodes. Yeah. In one, she's the major player. At least I remember one, and that's why she becomes friends with Clump and thinks he's a pet.
Oh, yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
That's it. But beyond that, Dixie's fucking a pointless character.
Yeah.
Barely in it, a background one, disappears to the point where you're like, why is she not in it more? We know, we can place in your head where all the apes live and where they're situated in the island. Where's Dixie? Where is Dixie for the majority of it? We don't have a category for it, but we should have a category called Pointless. Pointless, because she would go in that.
I mean, considering that she's like Diddy's girlfriend.
Oh, that's a very confusing aspect because Dixie and Diddy are implied that they're kids, but they also dress in an unusual way compared to the others. Like we always were weirded out by the fact that DK just wears a tie, Diddy just wears a t-shirt, Dixie just wears a t-shirt. Candy has a very womanly figure, so wears full sexualized, has full clothes. Very, very strange stuff. So Dixie and Diddy sometimes share moments.
That's why,
and there's an episode where DK, do you remember? I remember it now. The lizard set it up so they think DK is trying to isolate DK from all his friends, and one of them involves him apparently hitting on Dixie. Fucking weird. And I know they're monkeys and apes, but the problem is you've created this hierarchy of making them seem younger visually and sound, and then overtly sexualizing Candy. And I know that it's from the game, so I'm not knocking the show for that. But my God, it makes Dixie a weird character. So I think we've got to put her near bottom.
So I always pictured DK to be about like 18, 19. And then
a young adult.
And then Diddy about 13.
12, 13, yeah. That's what I would think if you were asking me to put them in ages. I think you're absolutely right. Because Cranky's a lot older, Carul's it's very, very strange. But aside from that, she's so... we don't have a character for Pointless. So I guess we'll use Annoying.
Yeah, because there's only one person going to the West.
But I mean, that episode, let's give her a break. That episode with... Clump is a good episode. I remember it.
And even at the end, they have a moment.
So that puts her above Inka Dinka Doo then? Is it fucking Inka Dinka Doo? Right, there you go. Yeah, it's just not in enough. Let's leave her to the end. Let's jump to Bluster. Bluster is, of course, the owner of the Barrel Factory, a sleazeball, slimeball loser who I would argue, and I'm going to see if you agree, deserves to go on Always Fun.
100%.
Bluster lights up the screen.
For me, it's first.
Oh,
for me, it's first.
Right. Let me argue why. Let's argue why we get. Let's make our argument for Always Fun first. The reason being is because Bluster, not only being a major player in all the episodes, is a great forward to Donkey Kong. His voice actor is brilliant, but he also do a lot of fun stuff with him.
Yeah.
There's an episode later on in the show where he becomes cool and suave, elements like that. He's always trying to get one up and DK in different ways. The fact that he is almost a slave trader to Candy Kong and runs the barrel factory is often fun. Then you have this element of Mumsy on the phone, which always makes me think, when you hear Mumsy of Rimmer from Red Dwarf.
Oh, yeah.
And all these stuff that make me laugh and enjoy him as a character. He is entertaining.
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
That's it.
And I said top of always fun.
Yep.
But I'm actually going to change it now, actually. And the only reason why he doesn't get top for me now, actually, is because he's not in it enough. He's in a lot of episodes.
He's a lot. I'd, if there's 40 episodes, I'd put Bluster in about 20 to 25.
Yeah, exactly. But to be a major player, you've got to be
Clubs in almost every one, I reckon, if not all 40.
Exactly. So you have to be in more.
And I would argue this as well: why Clump goes higher. Clump made me laugh. Bluster didn't make me laugh. I was entertained by Bluster, but he didn't make me laugh. My argument is, after Clump above Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I got that.
I think Bluster should have got the goal, but that's mainly because the guy's a dick. But we're going to get to that in a moment. Right, cool. I mean, you already know where we want to put her.
Oh, yeah.
It is Candy Kong, and my God,
Oh man,
I think by the end of this show we hated her.
Yes.
We hated her for her genuine, nasty, narcissistic, twisted behaviour,
it's horrible,
downright selfish. God, I started to wonder if the writers hated her and were writing her to make her seem like the worst character ever. She's selfish, she's self-centered, she treats Donkey Kong like crap, she treats Bluster like crap, she treats everyone like crap, and then seems to demand that they kowtow to her constantly. She demands DK worship her, and then gets infuriated and angry and dumps him a lot of the time the moment he wants to do anything with his friends or whatever. There is an episode where she's happy to marry Bluster, which might be the highlight of her worst behaviour overall. But the worst thing is she also lets Bluster, she knows Bluster hits on her and stuff like that, but she allows it, she lets it continue. And by then, like I said, the episode where she wants to marry him or goes on a date with him, she encourages it. She doesn't play damsel in distress, which is something. To be fair, she's got there's a good argument to say she's a bit of a stronger character.
Yeah.
But she's so unlikable.
Yeah, she's.
It's incredible.
It's almost like one of the producers is male, and that's a picture of his like ex-wife or something.
Yeah, like the writing is insanely poor for her, and it didn't have to be this way. There are times where they do nice things of her, but they always find a way to make her come across like a bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
And we were baffled, and it's really harmful because she's the only major female character we have in the show.
Yeah,
and we couldn't understand why they wrote it this way. We could not see how, if this is aimed towards children, she was being perceived as a good role model.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a young girl and you're looking at this thinking, okay, this age,
this is what,
you're always after money, you're always playing against each other,
Considering the majority writer is Erica Strobel, explain this to me. I would love to. My God, wouldn't it be great to have a conversation with Erica and someone and say, where did the writing for Candy come from? Because it's really baffled us, and we are two men viewing this through these eyes, and we've often struggled with the contrast between watching it as two 30-year-olds, me nearing 40, well, both of us nearing 40. Compared to watching it as a young child, but we've tried, and this is a character we really look at and go, this was not good writing for a young child.
No. So,
particularly a young girl, maybe looking for, and there aren't enough female. Obviously, it's Donkey Kong Country, you can only do so much. But what are other female characters in it? Dixie, that's barely in it.
Yeah, so she is
that's
the main,
it.
She is the main female.
So Candy's the main female, and this is how you write her.
Yeah.
Narcissistic, selfish, self-centered, mean. It's really, really weird.
We already discussed the fact that they've sexualised her for no reason.
And that.
There's no need.
But I don't give the show too much harshness on that because that comes from the game. Yes. So I don't blame them. If we're talking as a reflection of the game, everyone looks perfect. The animation and stuff. They look like you would think they do and so on. So I can't be too angry at that.
No, they've done a good job at that.
But she's the worst.
Yep.
It's the worst. I'm stunned that that's the case, but when I did this and added the 14 characters, immediately I went, well, that's... And I knew Damon would feel the same because we discussed it at length. There it is. I'm sorry, Candy. We're not happy about it. That's the thing. We're not happy about this. And there it is. And I can't believe it. I think we've nailed this.
Yes.
I think we fucking nailed this. I think, Clump is top, but I think Bluster and DK alongside him are they're the three characters that were always fun. But K. Rool, Diddy, Crusher, Funky, and Scurvy, they're always enjoyable characters.
Definitely.
I think maybe we might be being a bit too harsh and cranky.
Yes, probably. Yeah, I mean,
but you know, he's a mad character for us. Alongside Polly Roger and Eddie the Mean Old Yay, and then we've got two annoying characters: Inka Dinka Doo because he legitimately is annoying, and Dixie because she's pointless. And as I already said, she's the worst. It's Candy. That is Donkey Kong Country's characters, our major players. There were a few that popped up in like single episodes, but I couldn't see the point of adding them into it because they wouldn't get high placement because of that, like the Kung Fu one and old people like that. So I figured this was the best reflection of it, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is us done with Donkey Kong Country for now. Unless something changes in the future, we might have a reason to go back to it. I don't know. I am considering something, but I'm not going to spoil it now. What do you think? Do you agree with our tier list ranking? You got any thoughts? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?